Brilliant. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today. It's Monday, but do not adjust your screens. We are talking Christmas today at our Lunch and Learn with Action Coach Solihull, and I am delighted to be joined by not one, but three lovely ladies on the call this afternoon. We have Rachel McGillian even from Isel Digital. Hello. We have Lisa Organ from Lisa's Sweet Treats. Hello. And we have the lovely Susie Lau from SJ Corporate Events. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So if you're joining us at the moment on good old LinkedIn or Facebook, then please do ask any of my lovely ladies any questions that you may have with regards to Christmas. Please, not what Father Christmas is going to bring for you, but business related in the respect of how we can plan better for Christmas, how we can kind of, as a business owner, make sure that we are ready. That could potentially be our busiest season yet, or our busiest day yet. And hopefully with the variety of ladies that we've got on the call today, we'll be able to give you some helpful hints and tips in that also important planning of events, of digital marketing, and also from a retail point of view, how kind of far in advance that you need to be ready for that dreaded C word, as I often say it. So yeah, pop any questions that you have for them in the chat boxes. We are monitoring them as we go along. So any questions, lady, I will shout out. So firstly, over to Rachel from a digital marketing perspective and Christmas. So if I was to say to you, Rachel, come to you, you know, I've got a product for Christmas, I want to get it on there at the market. When should I be starting to do my digital marketing campaign? Is it like the beginning of December, or is it I kind of knew the answer there, or is it should I be thinking about it I was going to say, should I be thinking about it like in August, around now?
So there's a variety of answers to that. In an ideal world, you over the last few months, you would have been collecting data about your customers, having had Pixel and Google Analytics, etc., set up on your website, so that when you come to marketing particular products at Christmas, you know exactly who your customer is. Google and Facebook know who your customer is, so you can tailor your advertising to them at a time when actually advertising is quite expensive, because it's so competitive at Christmas. It does become, so Facebook and Google ads do become more expensive. So what should have been happening, but there's still time for it to happen, is that you've been collecting data. So now you know you can target people that may have already been on your website. If you've collected email addresses, you can create, you can target them, you can run email campaigns. I was reading an article this morning, you need to be prepared for the various dates in the run up to Christmas, which is the end of November is Black Friday. Then you have Cyber Monday, and then it's just Christmas. But people have started, the retail has gathered figures already, and people have started their Christmas shopping in July this year. And because of the trend last year, obviously, because of the close down and opening up of retail, etc., the increase in online sales obviously has gone through the roof
already.
Yeah. So wow. there's a trend that it's got. Although to sort of outweigh that, because there's Christmas markets this year and stuff like that, obviously there is the opportunity for face-to-face and hands-on stuff. And obviously because people missed out last year, they want to do all the physical stuff this year as well as the online stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a juggle.
Yeah, I was going to say, Steve's already online and is asking question. Firstly, do I spot tinsel? Yes, you do, Steve. But he's asking about planning for Christmas within your business. And I suppose we always talk about having a digital marketing strategy moving forward, you know. So when it comes to planning your digital marketing for Christmas, does that differ from any other event in the calendar? You know?
Well, in retail, I guess, Lisa will know this. It's obviously always be prepared sort of the quarter before for the quarter after, I would say. But there's significant dates in retail. So obviously Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. There's various dates that retailers tend to build up to, depending on what they sell. But yeah, Christmas tends to be the generic one that everybody, it's a piece of pie for everyone. So it's not just for moms on Mother's Day or dads on Father's Day. So a particular product or a particular product category will be sold. Christmas is for everyone. So all your products, obviously if you're selling decorations and things like that, a good thing to do if you are selling decorations, actually, to test your market, if you haven't done it already, is to get some Halloween stock on the go, and then retarget your Halloween people for Christmas. So yeah, I would say, yeah, there's more preparation that would go into Christmas than to the stuff throughout the year.
So if you're looking at sort of like Facebook adverts and Google adverts and that kind of thing, do we talk about Christmas now? Is it allowed? At what point does it become acceptable to talk about that C word?
So I read another thing that I read this morning was that this particular study was looking at Black Friday. And it's 18 days before Black Friday that someone may visit a website and say, oh, for example, I might want an iPad for not an iPad. Apple's not a great example on Facebook, to be honest. So I might want a new tablet for my child. Let's have a look at Black Friday deals. So they will then go onto websites 18 days before Black Friday, and then from there, they will research for up to 2 weeks before Black Friday, before following out the Black Friday purchase decision. Yeah. So that tells you how far, and that's just Black Friday, which tends to be techie type stuff. Yeah. So then all the other stuff around Christmas, people will be looking at now. So no, it's not too early. Events, massively. Events, like if you're, I would say as I've got young children, I know that I'm now looking at, events for Christmas. Family events for Christmas. So, and a lot of them are getting sold out already. So it's not too early. It's really not.
Yeah, I was going to say, which maybe leads us nicely on to Susie, actually, from that aspect, from that comment, is kind of like for Christmas events, Susie, and kind of looking at your kind of corporate side, are people planning? Are they planning them well in advance? Are they kind of when do you ideally start planning your Christmas corporate kind of event, whether that's clients or whether that's for your own organisation?
Yeah, so I think this year is a little bit different to what it's been in previous years post-pandemic. So post-pandemic, you would start to think about your Christmas event and also Christmas gifting, which obviously Lisa will cover off in a lot of detail. So all that stuff starts to get thought about in August, primarily in the corporate world, because everything's quieter in that period of time. So you've got that moment to breathe and start thinking about the rest of the year. A lot of events are booked way in advance, sometimes a year in advance. So if they've been somewhere, they've really enjoyed it, businesses will book on again. I was actually at a Christmas event in London last week, 2 weeks ago, sorry, God, time's flying by. And speaking to a lot of the suppliers there and venues, companies are hesitant on booking on at the moment because they don't quite know which way it's going to go. So they don't know whether they want to do virtual or do in person. So there's a lot of inquiries, but they don't think that they will actually be confirmed bookings until the end of September, beginning of October, which means actually now would be a really good time. If you know that you want to do in person, now is a good time, because you're probably going to have more chance of getting the dates that you want rather than just skimping on the dates that are left available.
Yeah, I was going to say, from previous experience, we've often found, organising that Christmas event can be really stressful and really kind of like challenging, and thinking kind of outside the box can be sometimes interesting as well, because people want to wow their clients. They want to say thank you, but yet they want to wow them and keep them coming back year on after year, don't they? So what top tips would you give to anybody out there that's kind of thinking, okay, it's Christmas, it's now September the 20th, this month is flying by, I've only actually got October, November, potentially 3 months
Not even that really, because
No.
people start to do, you've got to think year end, a lot of corporate businesses are really focusing on that end of year target figure that they'll be working to within the business. So Christmas is stressful for businesses in a lot of ways, not just creating their campaigns around Christmas and everything like that. So I'd say certainly look at what you've done previously from a business perspective. If it's from you're wanting to take your clients out, you would have had conversations with them over the last year to get a feel for whether they would prefer in-person or virtual. So they would be the ones that really start putting feelers out to them. We're looking at doing something for Christmas. Would that be something that you'd be interested in? And also get a feel for how many people they'd be comfortable to be around. There's so many amazing Christmas events that are going on, and Christmas parties that big venues, small venues, medium-sized venues, they're all putting on, and they're all amazing. They're very extravagant because venues are just so excited about putting events on for corporates, or having a fine dining experience or a dining experience, whatever fits the budget. You've just got to make sure that your guests are going to turn up, and also expect a drop-off rate as well. So if you think 100 are going to come, you're looking at more sort of around the 80 mark. You've got to think that not everyone will feel comfortable on that day, and you have got pingdom as well. So if people get pinged, then they're not going to come. So what do you do in that situation? But yeah, I'd really, from what I would suggest is put the feeler out to whether you're doing something for your team. So put feelers out with them, and you'll know by the people that are really up for it what kind of event that they would like on in average. So are they really party people, or are they quieter people that would appreciate more of a lunch and just a nice conversation? So read from them, ask them those critical questions, those that will set the criteria for what type of Christmas event you host.
Yeah, and it'd be the same for the clients, I'm assuming. So your clients. So they're small, intimate. Do you think that will be more popular this year rather than the large event?
I think so. I think there's a real divide actually. I think some people will want to go all out. They'll want to do all guns blazing. They'll want that massive experience, and other people would just rather have a one-to-one sort of maybe a meal of 10 other people around a table where they're keeping it more intimate. And it's really down to the business to decide how they're going to spread their budget in that way. And also it's not just their budget, it's their time. So if they're wanting to take out 10 lots of 10 lots of 10 or whatever, or however you're going to split it up, that's a lot of time that they're allocating to that. Yeah,
it's turkey, guys.
It is a lot of turkey. There are other cuisines out there that are just as delicious, and I would firmly recommend them, because if you're anything like me, once you've done a load of Christmas parties, you get to Christmas Day and you're like, really, again? Guys, come on, there are other beautiful cuisines out there.
Do you know, Susie, just before this, I jumped on a call with a hotel manager and we were having a chat, and you've just brought it flooding back to me when I used to work in events, and we used to obviously start Christmas was in November. And so you used to do 25, 26, up to 30 events through the Christmas period. And obviously as members of staff, you could always have the leftover turkey dinners. And I always remember getting home, my mum made me promise one year not to have one, because I used to get home and go, no, not turkey, mum, please don't make turkey. I really don't want turkey, because I'd had enough. And one year I actually did it where I didn't have turkey at all, and I really enjoyed my Christmas lunch because it was the only turkey. But you do get turkeyed out, you do. But
you do.
Actually, you went cold turkey.
I did.
Sorry.
I love it. So, Lisa, Steve's asking online, bless him. I think he's a top fan. He's a top fan. He said, are people planning their shopping earlier so they don't get caught out? There's lots of stories about supply issues, and he's put ... and I need my sweets. So have you find that this potentially is a challenge for you moving forward?
Yeah, I'd say supplies is a huge issue this year, not just for my own business, but for so many businesses, just with everything being delayed. So this year, I've made the decision this year to buy everything now. Obviously, it's hard on cash flow to do that, but I think for businesses this year, I think you can't be relying on stuff that might come in time, or there might be more, because every business in the UK is sort of feeling that real backlog at the moment. So we've had a huge amount of Christmas deliveries this week, and what I'm saying to people is it is first come first served, and for both the online shop and also for the corporate market as well, everything is there, and once it goes, hopefully I'll be restocking, but I can't guarantee it. And I think that there's gonna be a lot of other people in that same situation. But I have had messages this week from people saying, right, I'm ready to place Christmas orders now. This is just for personal shopping, saying, you know, when can I place the orders? And we're opening ours from the 1st of October.
Okay.
Apparently, yeah, like Rachel said, 20% of people have done some Christmas shopping in July this year, which is just unbelievable. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
So how do you decide from a retailer? Because obviously you are a pick and mix queen, obviously. Lots of sweets behind you, as we can see, which I'm eyeing up, as I always do on my calls with you. But how do you decide as a retailer kind of what products to offer during the Christmas period? Because obviously it must be quite a minefield. You know, do you get it right? Do you get it wrong? P.S. Steve says, has Lisa chartered her own ship to get sweets to us? I think he's like literally obsessed. But do you know what I mean? How do you decide kind of like what to offer out there?
So a lot of it's through trial and error. So this is my 3rd Christmas now with Lisa Sweet Treats and offering products. And what I did, I think it's my background in project management, is I did a lessons learnt log after Christmas. And I was like, right, these were the key things. These are my takeaways. Okay, I didn't charge enough for this product. It took a lot of time. Okay, make sure that I'm making more of a margin on this. Right, this product, people loved it. That was the real, you know, the real product that brought people in. What's the hero product? Is that the phrase? Yep, that's the one that people loved. And I think for me, then having those notes to now look back on in August, I could look back at the notes I made in end of December and early January. That was a real big thing. It's also just listening to the consumers. So this year we've done a real push for not using disposable plastics. So every product, so we've stuck with some of the Christmas tree jars because they can all be reused throughout the year. But we're doing a lot of things now, like say paper boxes. So we've got some lovely paper boxes here, and then these will then come bespoke with client branding, because all of these can then be recycled afterwards. We did lots with plastic baubles in the last couple of years, but they can't be reused afterwards. So what we've done this year is we've gone for paper tree decorations. So we've got paper tree decorations this year, and these are all filled with sweets, and these will be fab hanging on Christmas trees. And I think it's a real conscious thing, I think, of just listening to what the market's doing. There's lots of research out there in terms of trends. Using Pinterest is great for getting an idea of trends and what people are talking about this Christmas, and also working with retail experts as well. So a lot of them will start planning in August, and for me that's really helped, of just mapping everything out. So this week we're doing our whole social media calendar and scheduling everything from now until the start of the new year. Because during Christmas you want to be selling and you want to be fulfilling orders. You don't want to be thinking, oh, I need to make sure I put my content out there for Black Friday and I need to be putting this out there on certain dates. Actually, a really big thing for us this year is just getting organized, ordering all the supplies in and getting everything scheduled with social media.
So Rachel, going back to like the social media aspect and the scheduling, you know, is now the optimum time to actually be doing that? And what kind of, you know, is it about kind of being different from the whole of market? You know, is that going to get you more traffic to your websites? Is that going to make, you know, love the message that Lisa's got about the sustainable aspect? You know, I'm ordering this tree. Definitely, I will be in contact, Lisa. But do you know what I mean? You know, is there a message? Is that a good thing to have that message out there that will get,
So something that I mean, and that's huge, is the sustainability thing. Definitely, obviously for positive reasons, which is great. It's not just a trend, it's a really good thing. So yeah, definitely that's great. But yeah, you can pick up on trends. The whole scheduling thing, yes, Lisa, completely agree. You don't want to be, this may be, so maybe sort of the next couple of weeks, maybe the beginning of October, depending what type of retail you're in, this could literally be the calm before the storm. And like Lisa says, you're going to be in the thick of it. And you don't want to be thinking, oh my God, what can we post today? What can we do today? You know, planning it. And the other thing to remember is, even though you've planned it, you know, it's not set in stone. So if something does happen, which kept happening last year, between sort of October and Christmas, you can go back and you can pull your posts back and redo them. And so it's you know, it's not the end of the world. For driving traffic, Instagram is huge at the moment. The whole Instagram, Facebook shops. So tagging products, that's a huge thing, which obviously that started the beginning of last year. But people don't tagging products in your social media drives traffic to your website, and making it simple for people to buy things is huge. So yeah, definitely the Facebook and Instagram shops, and Instagram Reels are massive. So it's something like 67% more views you get on Instagram Reels. So whilst you might not be, and the other thing to note as well is that you can run ads in Reels now as well. So yeah, so that is that will drive traffic as well. So just generally, always remember, social media is social, so it's not sell. It's not sell, and tends to be with the Reels, especially. You know, bring a bit of character into them. Bring a bit of yourself into them, the face behind the business, if you are so that way inclined. And the more you do put your face on camera, the easier it gets. But that said, it doesn't just have to be you pointing to music and stuff like that, which can get a bit staid. So yeah, it's just thinking of something unique. Unboxing, that's huge. Which would be great for Lisa and things. Yeah, so just things like that. But definitely, even if you can't schedule the content, having a content plan will make a huge difference to you rushing around trying to do everything in December.
And I suppose, Susie, you know, that's the same with an event. It's the planning, isn't it? It's the actual planning that makes an event a success or not a success, as the case may be.
100%. 100%. And I think as well, in a lot of businesses, it's normally the practice manager or one of the administrators within the office that's been given the task of putting an event together, whether it's for their team or for, you know, their clients. So my key bit of advice really would be, you know, look at your objective. You know, what is the objective behind why you want to do this? And I think it's really easy to lose sight of that. It's creating that guest list. So it's, you know, as you're at a point now where you can be really selective with the people that you're inviting. Client wise, obviously, I don't think that would go down too well if it was a member of your, you know, your team. I think you kind of have to invite them all. I think. So yeah, then it's looking. So if you're planning your guest list now and you're letting them know and you're giving them that save the date, you're more likely to get the people that you want there rather than the sort of the runners up, if you like. Budget is obviously huge, so really looking at your budget along, you know, when you're looking at your objectives, and location. So where are you going to have this event? So if it is for clients, you're based in the Midlands, but the majority of your clients are based down in London, it makes zero sense for you to plan an event in the Midlands because you're not going to get the people from London out of London. So it's just looking at those things as well. And also the style of the event. I think that's really important. What style of event you want. And again, that's going back to talking to your clients and getting a feel for what they like. But also putting your individual stamp on it as well.
Yeah, I think the planning aspect for me, it's, you know, again, it's not a wedding, but actually you think about, you know, planning a wedding and planning your event for your wedding, you know, how many weeks before do you start it? Well, you start it like, you know, it could be 6 months, could be a year before, you know, or 2 years or whatever, but you don't plan it the week before, do you? You know, at all. And you do send save the date cards. So actually, why wouldn't you do that if you're wanting your clients to actually come and spend, you know, some time with you so that you're able to say maybe thank you, or you're wanting to show them that you're a great kind of you know, business to work with, you know. And I think having that clear objective is key. Now, again, another question on good old Facebook, see, we're out there, guys, is for each of you, what did you do last Christmas that maybe you haven't tried before and will be repeating as a COVID keep?
Really wanted to start singing Last Christmas. I
knew you did.
Well, I gave you my heart, Julie, the very next day.
See, this is why you're good at Instagram Reels, Rachel.
Well, that's a content idea. Hang on.
But I suppose that's where inspiration comes from, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Something like that you kind of go, ooh, yeah, that would be a good one, and just doing it. I know that we've had that conversation in the past, that you have to be in the right mood to create Instagram reels, but you know, and actually when you're not in the right mood, it doesn't work. You all use Instagram reels, don't you? Yeah, so Susie's gonna go. But I know you do. So what thing, you know, what did you do last Christmas from a business perspective? You know, is there anything that you would be repeating this year as a COVID keep? Lisa, what do you think?
I don't think there is in particular from as a COVID point of view, but I definitely think the planning, like you're saying about wedding planning, I think the getting ahead has made life so much easier. The fact that we did our Christmas photo shoot probably 2 weeks ago now, all of those things being in place has made life so much easier going forward. The fact that now all the photos are taken, we can now push on with promoting them on the website, we can now schedule all the social media content. I think by getting organized now has really paid off. Especially you don't want to be getting to November and thinking, oh, I need to buy the materials, because I think this year it will just be a case of you can't get them and there isn't any materials. And I think that there will be a big shortage this year. We ran out of Christmas pick and mix probably middle of November last year. All the Christmas pick and mix is sold, and that includes pre-orders, so people can order today and get it delivered on the, say, 10th of December, 15th of December, whatever date they choose, and that works really, really well. However, obviously, if there's no supplies to do that, it comes on a first come, first serve basis. So I'd say getting organised has been a huge thing for us and carrying on with that.
So when you talk about this, like Christmas pick and mix, do your products actually change? It's not just the actual packaging?
Yes, yeah, we've got some, yes.
This is where I'm kind of going, yay! Whoa.
So here's some of our Christmas pick and mix. So we've got like fizzy Christmas trees, a jelly snowflakes, we've got their strawberry candy canes, they're foamy, there's some marshmallows, there's some reindeers, which are colas, which is great. And and Haribo giant straws, but Christmas trees, so love it.
So do you just kind of like, when do you need to start thinking about that? Is that kind of, do you need to think about that? No, but it's like, did you need to order that previously and kind of go, well, those are the ones? Is there more? Is there a massive scope of sweets?
Yes, so I've ordered a ton of it. I'm just waiting for it to arrive, hopefully today or tomorrow. And yeah, I've got a pallet of it arriving imminently, because people are placing Christmas orders and they're ready to order. So it's here.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely am not this organized in like personal life for Christmas, but I would say definitely that is my top tip, is honestly to get organized and to get ordering any supplies you might need.
And is that a lesson learned from previous years where you necessarily haven't been as organized?
Yeah, I think the Christmas pick and mix was a real struggle last year. It was really disappointing to turn customers away, and you think actually now those people that I turned away because I didn't have what they wanted, they've gone to my competitors, and they might now be a loyal customer of my competitors. Realistically, that's the nature of it, and I don't want to ever have to turn customers away. So that's a big thing for me.
And Rachel, do your customers kind of get the planning aspect? Are they, no?
No, it depends actually, which is it's interesting what Lisa's just said. It depends how far along in their business journey they are. So if they're a fairly new business, which how were you 2 years in last year, Lisa?
This is my third Christmas. My business has been going 2 years full time, but because I started in September 2 years ago. Yeah.
So the longer you go, the more lessons you learn. So and that's the thing. If the earlier because I guess the digital, because you have to get in physical products, or some businesses get in physical products, they too tend to think about the physical stuff first. And then they wouldn't necessarily think, they might then think, right, well, it's okay, we can, because digital is just like, they think it's a few clicks on a keyboard, it can literally be done like that. Well, actually it can't be. And if you're doing it in-house, then obviously you would need to allow for whoever that person is that's doing it in-house to have the time to do it, because you might be pulling them away from something else. And if you're not doing it in-house and you're working with someone like myself, then obviously I'm not just working for one person. So I have got at the moment about 3 Christmas campaigns lined up already for 3 different customers. So it's then thinking about whether or not someone like myself or agencies get booked out for Christmas as well, and being able to allocate the time to your campaigns or to other businesses' campaigns.
Because it is time sensitive at the end of the day. It's not like, it's not a year-round product, so it's the same.
And it's competitive and expensive the closer you get to Christmas. So advertising, digital advertising, paid adverts will get more and more expensive as time goes, as we get closer to Christmas.
Right, okay. So, and is it the same for you, for yourself, like, you know, Susie, that, you know, you've got somebody who's in this role, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, everyone's going, September, we don't need to think about Christmas, and it gets to December and you're kind of like going, oh, we need to organise a party, we need, just do prices increase, do the kind of that aspect, or is it just the choice that becomes more limited with regards to events?
I think it's a bit of both. I think it comes down to the day that you're doing the event. So if you're doing something in the middle of the week, you're obviously going to have a cheaper price bracket than what you would if you were doing it on a Thursday, Friday or Saturday. So I think you do need to think about that aspect of it as well, and, you know, put that into your budget.
Yeah. Do you think, you know, like, is there an argument to kind of do a non-Christmas event in December? Or would you kind of, like, in your experience, kind of turn around and say, well, actually, December should be about Christmas, it should be about thanking our clients, or should it be about generating leads? You know, so for example, I'm a business owner, I want to do a seminar or a corporate event for potential clients. Is there an argument not to do that in December and to wait until next year, or bring it forward in November? Or is December still a good month?
I would say don't do anything educated in December, because clients expect you to be doing something around Christmas. If you invited them to something and it had no Christmas relation, they would be shocked. And I think that is the whole thing, you know, that you've got the first 2 weeks of December, which you can invite people to events and that are Christmas related. I think trying to educate clients as well is not the thing to do in December at an event, you know, not hosting a seminar, because I just don't think you'd get the rate that, you know, the numbers that you would want. People are slowing down, they're focusing on how they're getting to the Christmas, how they're getting to the end of the year, so they've got that time off. So I think trying to educate them on key parts of, you know, what your business is in December, it's going to fall on deaf ears, because people just aren't going to want to know about it. I think you've just got to set, if you're going to do that, look to do it in November. And I'd say the beginning to middle of November, not towards the end of November, or go hard in January. So tax year end, you know, that's a massive one, you know, making sure, you know, certainly in the finance sector, making sure that your clients, because a lot of them would have had inheritance over Christmas, they would have had bonuses, you know, making sure that they're, you know, taking full advantage of their allowances. So the campaign then would start, you know, so then, you know, looking at hosting an event where you're educating clients. Also, so you've got grandchildren that would have got money coming through, you know, they might be 18, so them taking advantage of, you know, setting up ISAs, that's a big thing for them, that's a big, you know, adult step. So, you know, setting up things like that, you know, finance obviously is just one example, but I think you really have, with any event, I think you really have to pick your time of year and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and I suppose that, you know, when you start thinking, a lot of people kind of go along that boat of a new year, new you kind of aspect, you know. So, you know, is it time to start thinking about that now as well? You know, should you be doing a double whammy and going Christmas and New Year? You know, is it sugar-free sweets for us all, Lisa, next year? Do you know what I mean? Healthy for us, so we're back to the fruit aspect, you know, or is it a case of, you know, we think about January in January?
I think you need to be starting to think about January now, and I think, you know, really it is, you know, it is a double whammy, because people do have that week, 2 week, 10 days off, 2 weeks off in December where they completely shut down. So if you're inviting them to an event, or you're trying to get, you know, trying to hit January in a hit January hard in a really positive way for your business, you need to start promoting what you're doing in January in November. So you need to start creating that activity and knowing what you're going to do now.
Yeah, and Lisa, isn't the, you know, when we talk about, you know, one thing that's just popped in my mind when we're talking about January is like January sales aspect, you know, do you do those kind of special offers? Do you join the bandwagon, I suppose, in January and do those like January sales aspect on retail, or is it a case of, you know, in your mind, nah, you know, they either like my sweets and they'll buy them at full price or not, you know, that kind of aspect? What's your strategy?
Yeah, I think it's really easy to get bogged down because everyone else is doing Black Friday and all the big boys are doing Black Friday. It's very easy to get sucked into it. And I think there's kind of quite a divide of people who are very anti Black Friday. But I think don't be pressured. You do what you want to do. Don't feel like you've got to do it because that, or other people are saying, no, it's going to ruin small business, so I won't partake in it. We have chosen this year to say when you spend £50 in the online shop, you'll then get a freebie with it, so you'll get a free sweet pouch, is our plan for Black Friday, because we looked down the discount line and whatnot, but actually, do you know what, we're very, very happy with our service and value for money. That's something that we want to just keep fulfilling to our customers. I've been on some excellent seminars, obviously, of course, nothing compared to this one, about Christmas. And yeah, one of the key things on there was using Black Friday, whether it's to give away stock that's not clearing, and whether it's to, you know, look at using those things that are short dated. And I think for me, we won't do January sales. That's our Black Friday plan.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not a big fan of discounting leads to discounting customers, as some famous business coach taught me. I don't know who that might have been.
Yeah, but it's so true. It's so true. It's about, you know, that discount is like, it devalues your product and your worth. That's just, obviously, it's my opinion. You know, Steve again is asking corker a question. So you ladies on this call today, so he's asking, you know, is there such a thing as January sales now? You know, is there such a thing? Because don't we all the sales start before Christmas? You know, Boxing Day hits and you see sales left, right and centre, or actually even before Christmas. And I have friends that start their shopping on like the 20th of December because they know that the majority of the products, that's you, Lisa, nice one, the majority of products have actually started to go on sale in preparation for those kind of allegedly January sales. You know, Rachel, do you find that, you know, from a digital point of view, you know, are your customers thinking about that already? And I suppose it goes down to that planning aspect again, doesn't it?
Yeah, down to the planning, and actually what Susie was saying earlier about the event stuff, what you were saying about New Year, New You. So sort of Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then there'll be a spike in social media usage because people are at home and thinking about, oh right, it's New Year, what do I do now? So if you have got seminars, webinars, events, or anything going on, sort of the first quarter of the year, starting to promote it from around the 27th of December is actually a really good time, because and we all know the fitness industry will that's sort of their big boom time as well, because that's when people start to think about, right, I'm going to get back into my business, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to become fit, or and social media, because people do tend to be working less, if working at all, over that Christmas period where nobody knows what day of the week it is. So I would definitely say, yeah, plan your digital from that aspect as well. So now be thinking about your Christmas, and then if like Susie says, you would know by now if you're going to be running an event in January or February of next year. So have the event planned, and then look at promoting it sort of from digitally, I would say, from December, around December the 27th.
And do you think, you know, and this is a question for all of you, you know, how important is it for a business owner to be responsive over the Christmas period? You know, will you be taking the time off? Do you think that it's acceptable for us all to be taking time off during that Christmas period, so that, you know, when you've planned your digital marketing and you've planned your offers, you know, is it then okay to take that time off? Or what happens to that traffic, that those orders, if you've got all this social media and stuff out there, you know, all the inquiries that are coming in, are they okay just to sit there and wait?
Personally, yes. I think that it's really important as a business owner to rest and recharge. It's something that I do not preach. I preach and do not practice, sorry, I should say. But I think that actually, for me, it's getting to that 23rd of December and going, do you know what, I'm not back at work now until the 3rd, the 4th or whatever of January. I think what I might look at doing is outsourcing that admin. So somebody who can pick up any emails or whatnot, but we will be turning the shop off. We will not be fulfilling orders throughout that period. People have surely got enough confectionery over the Christmas period. But I think it should be, and I think it shouldn't be a case of, oh, we're your business, you need to be making money, you need to be, you know, capitalizing on that. And actually, do you know what? If you want to rest. If you want to do some behind the scenes planning, that's also fine. But I think there shouldn't be any guilt or expectation to be working over that period. It's my take.
What about yourself, Susie?
I think it comes into that massive mental health aspect, doesn't it? I think the year, you know, this has been another weird and wonderful year, and it's had many twists and turns for every single one of us. And I think when you get to, you know, I think we all feel like when we get to December, we're literally counting down the days to when we can just switch off, chill out, be with our loved ones and be present with them. I don't think it's a bad thing to switch off. I think, you know, as long as you've set yourself time aside where you know you're going to go back to your emails and respond. I think it's more about getting over that mindset. So it's, you know, is it that you set an hour a day, you know, obviously not on Christmas Day, but is it that you set yourself an hour a day where you're looking at your email so you feel like you're ahead of it, you're on top of the game, so you know what's going on, rather than waiting to opening your emails on the 3rd of January and there's like 100, 200 odd emails and you don't quite know where to start. I think it's what works best for you, but I don't think there's any judgment from anyone nowadays like there maybe was a couple of years ago. There was a pressure to be on 24/7, whereas I think we've now really focused on actually mental health and actually taking time out for ourselves and focusing on what we want.
Do you think that's just because we're all business owners and we're all nodding because we believe in that? Or do you think if we just had a customer out there, would they expect us to respond?
I would say what Susie and Lisa has said is very valid, and I completely agree. I do switch my phone and everything, not everything else off. Obviously, I've got Netflix on, but I do switch social media off at some point over Christmas. But it's about letting your customers know. Yeah. So sharing across your social media, you know. Thank you so much for getting us to this point, but we're now so tired, we're going to have a jolly few days off or whatever. Putting the out of office on your email and directing them. So like Lisa said, for example, she might get outsource it. So if you can direct someone to, you know, to that. Just your chat, so your social media chat as well, just make sure that you've got the relevant message on there, just letting them know, because people do expect a response when they contact you on social media chat, and there is a study to show that it's like within minutes they expect a response on social media chats. So if you put an automated message to say thank you ever so much for your message, but blah, 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 and redirect them either to email or whatever, then I'm sure they'll be fine. And like Lisa said, I think you said you were going to turn your shop off over Christmas.
Yes.
Not over Christmas, sorry.
But just during that actual Christmas.
Yeah, so during the weird days. So that's another option. But just as long as you let people know what you're doing, you know, people will be fine with it.
Yeah, and it's about that communication, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's fully about that communicating with our clients. And one thing that we always say is that you need to do it. You know, and I'm a big advocate of taking time off when you can take time off. It's something that we preach about, you know, that work-life balance, and working really hard up to and during that Christmas period is absolute key, you know. So I guess, you know, we've all been in business for a number of years. So Rachel, if I, you know, obviously we've only got a few minutes left. So if I said to you your top tip, you know, for anybody listening out there on good old Facebook and LinkedIn land, as I call them, you know, what would be your number one top tip that you would say about digital marketing and Christmas?
Number one, just one. Start early and utilize the data that you've got. Start early to collect the data and then utilize the data that you've got. Cool.
Susie, you back with us?
I am so sorry about that.
It's all right. No, just checking. What's your top tip where it comes to if somebody's thinking about that Christmas event, what is your top tip to do?
I would say start planning now. because it will take up a lot of your time, especially if you've got other stuff going on. And enjoy the process, but also remember that there are people out there that can help you. So if you're not sure, there are plenty of event planners out there that would be more than happy to guide you in the right direction. Also, venue finding services, so they're free. They are great and should be utilised, especially when it comes to Christmas, because they will know what all the venues are doing and hosting, and the prices as well.
Mm-hmm. That leads me to a question I was going to ask you earlier. Actually, I forgot. So obviously you're an corporate event planner, and obviously within a lot of organizations they have like the PA that normally plans a Christmas event. What's the advantages of using something like yourself over kind of a PA within a company?
So a PA has got numerous tasks every day, so they specialize in what they do, and that's keeping the business owner or the directors in check and making sure that they are helping their fundamental part of keeping the business running. So I think when it comes to something that it's a nicety but it's not an essential and it is time consuming, I think that is where someone like me comes into play, because we take that stress out of the business and we work with them to make sure that they have a really enjoyable experience as well. Because I think, like most event planners will tell you, it's great planning an event, but it's very different to planning an event and actually attending an event. So I think as a business, if you're wanting all your attendees to be present, all your team members to go to a Christmas event and enjoy it, having someone host it externally means that everyone is, rather than having that go-to person of what's going on now, what's going on here, which you obviously reduce slightly. But there is the virtual side as well, which we hadn't really touched on. We've focused on quite a bit of the in-person events, but not the virtual. And just one of my other top tips is, if you're looking at virtual from a business perspective, and you're looking at virtual events, think about what you did last year, what you did and didn't enjoy. And also, a lot of companies now, they're giving taster sessions, so you can see what you're buying into before you sign on the dotted line. So when you speak to businesses and you're speaking to virtual companies that are hosting Christmas events online, ask if they are doing that, because they'll be hosting them periodically over the next month or so. So certainly look at that, because then you'll get a real feel for whether that fits your objectives and budget.
Yeah, and I think that kind of like what resonates is that the tips that you're saying about the try aspect, and Lisa's saying that like about her having her heroes from last year, and Rachel knowing kind of what works, like that quirkiness in campaigns and stuff. It's all about those lessons learned. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of that advice and guidance that's been given. So like you say, yes, hadn't really thought about virtual events and them still being there this year, I suppose, in my head. But actually a lot of companies will want to, but last year it was very much kind of, let's all jump on Zoom and let's, go, hi, we've all got our silly party hats on. But what we have to remember is that it's a year on down the line. Things have progressed. The companies do them very, very professionally, and people actually do enjoy them. And so they're a great alternative to in-person events if your company's still challenged with that transport, travel, anxiety, I suppose, about going back to that face-to-face kind of aspect. So
100%. And you're not going to please everyone. And I think that's what you've got to, if you're doing it as a team event, you're not going to please everyone. There's always going to be someone that it's not their cup of tea. You just have to go with the majority. And you either have people that are 100%, engaged and just want to have a great time and celebrate with their co-workers, or they don't. You can't, like I say, you can't please everyone. But I'd say both in person and virtual, the things that I've been looking at over the last month or so look pretty epic. And I think you just have to go with what's your preference.
Perfect, thank you. And Lisa, for you, what would be for those retailers out there that are kind of going, oh my giddy aunts, I'm so behind, I haven't even got my Christmas sweets already ordered in, I don't have any tinsel, what am I going to do? Is it too late for retailers in your opinion, or is it a case of
it's never too late. It's never too late. You just might have to graft a bit and just put in the hard work. I'd say, honestly, I would say just make the start and just get going. For me, I did a massive brain jump the other day, wrote down everything that was on my mind. So things like after Christmas, turning the online shop back to just having the normal products and redirecting the Christmas URLs. Actually, those are things that I want to do before Christmas wraps up. I don't want someone to look at my website on the 3rd of Jan and find there's still the Christmas stuff on there.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd say get started, get all the ideas out of your head, get them all down on a bit of paper, and speak to the experts. So no matter whether you're looking for social media help, events, suites, I'd say just speak to the people and get your ideas out and get yourself sorted for whatever you need.
I love this.
Sooner rather than later.
I love the concept of a brain dump. We've talked about it a number of times and I love it. And for those out there that kind of thinking a brain dump, it's where you literally write down everything that's in your mind, you know. So actually by taking it away from your head in the nicest possible way and putting it down on paper, you actually free up the space in your head, and so therefore you don't feel as overwhelmed and kind of constructed, I suppose, by the thoughts that are in your head. So it's a great opportunity to kind of just write it down. So it may be 1 page long, it may be 2 pages long, it may be 6 pages long. It doesn't actually matter. It's the process of writing it down, so therefore you don't feel as overwhelmed. So just my top tip. Glenn's put on their Christmas starts now. Yay, I'm off to go and get the Christmas tree out. Oh, what's that one? Tell us more.
Oh, this is my Christmas boxes. They come in 3 different sizes. This is the 1 kilo box. And then I've got a 2 kilo and a 4 kilo. But I'm very excited about having these. I just had it here. I was fiddling with it.
So well, your Christmas shop's going live on the 1st of October. So if anybody's
yes, corporate orders are open now though.
Corporate orders are open now. So what we're going to do, ladies, is pop all of your details onto Facebook and LinkedIn, so that if anybody's interested in learning more, so if they need help with digital marketing strategies for the upcoming months, then get in there quick, because I know Rachel's busy. You know, if they're looking for that event because they've all of a sudden realized that the PA actually wants to enjoy Christmas and you know, and enjoy that event. It hadn't crossed my mind that that's the case, Susie. So it's a really good point to make, actually, that Christmas party or Christmas event that you're trying to organize for your team potentially, or even your clients. If you're wanting that person to enjoy it, then maybe don't let them be the organizer, because you do enjoy it, but you don't necessarily enjoy it 100%. Glenn would like a kilo of Lisa's sweets already. He's put that on there. Happy Christmas to me. But again, we will put your details on there as well, Lisa, because I know that there'll be a lot of corporate people out there that haven't necessarily thought about Christmas, and they need to start thinking about it now. So thank you so much for joining me today, ladies. Like I say, we'll pop all your details in the chat, so if anybody does want to reach out to the ladies individually, then please do so, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to take your calls. I feel like I need Christmas music to say goodbye to or you'll need to say ho ho ho, happy Christmas. But thank you so much for joining me today. I have loved having you all with me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas.